So one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to apostrophes is putting an apostrophe for words that are plural. So any word that ends with an S, they put an apostrophe, which is wrong. So if you look at the word cats, right, you don't need to put an apostrophe here or here just because it ends with S, or here bottles, no need for apostrophe. Jackets, you don't need to put apostrophe. So there's some sort of misunderstanding. So one of the reasons as to why we need apostrophe is to show sense of belonging. So something belongs to someone, okay? So it's to show ownership, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's look at an example. So this one says, first sentence says, the cats like to play outside, right? And the second one says, the cat's toys. So in the first one, you need to ask yourself, does anything belong to anyone? Okay, so in here, well, there are the cats, but really nothing belongs to anyone. It's just simply stating that they like to play outside. Whereas in the second one, it says the cat's toys. So what belongs to the cat? The toys, right? So you can put an apostrophe, right, to show that the toys belongs to the cats, right? Let's look at another example. So the first sentence reads, the cars were parked outside. And the second sentence reads, the car's engine broke down. So in the first one, again, we need to ask the same question. Does anything belong to anyone? Nope, not really. Whereas in the second one, who or what does the engine belong to? The car, right? So then you would put an apostrophe in between to show that the engine belongs to the car. I hope that made sense.
When it comes to apostrophes, singular and plural words matter. Singular means one and plural means more than one. So let's have a look at an example. So with singular nouns, we put the apostrophe after the word and then put an S. Okay, so you can see the girl's backpack. Who does the backpack belong to? The girl. So we put apostrophe S here. Same for the next one, the teacher's laptop. Who does the laptop belong to? The teacher. So we put the apostrophe S. The car's door. What does the door belong to? The car. So we put the apostrophe S to show that there's a sense of belonging. So all of these items belongs to the subject. And as you can see, usually whatever is belonging comes straight after. So the girl's backpack, the teacher's laptop, the car's door. So when it comes to plural, it's a little bit different because we just put the apostrophe, right? So we can see here, girls, that's multiple girls, and multiple backpacks. So who does the backpacks belong to? The girls. So we just put the apostrophe there, right? Again, the second one, there's multiple teachers because we know that, because there's an S. And there's multiple laptops. Who do these laptops belong to? The teachers. So we just put, again, the apostrophes. The car's doors. Again, there's multiple cars. We can tell that because of the S and the apostrophe afterwards. And there's multiple doors. So who do these doors belong to? The cars. So we just put the apostrophe. So we don't write cars. So this is wrong. We simply write cars with an apostrophe at the end and no S here. So that's the difference. So if we look here, right, if we look at the singular versus plural, we can see the difference. So if I erase this, we can see the main differences between the singular and plurals are that, first of all, the apostrophe placement, okay? So for singular now, we put apostrophe S. For plural, we just put the apostrophe. The S comes before the apostrophe. Same with teachers. Okay, we have teachers. The apostrophe is in between. Here we have a S and then the apostrophe. The doors, the car, apostrophe in between, apostrophe after. And the other difference you will notice is backpack, backpacks, laptop, laptops, door, doors. So how do we know that it's a plural or a single? Well, sometimes the objects indicate to us, okay, whether you should be putting the apostrophe in between, okay? So for example, here, whether you should be putting in between or after the S, okay? So you need to look at the word that comes after or the object that is belonging to someone. Let's have a look at this example. You need to choose a sentence with the correct apostrophe. So we can see the main difference between sentence 1 and sentence 2 is that this part here, right? So it says the zebras stripes shown in the sunlight. So I would encourage you to maybe pause the video and see if you can figure out the correct answer. So the correct answer is the first one, because here what belongs to the zebra is the stripes, right? The reason why it's not this one is because nothing belongs to the stripes, right? And usually the word that comes after is the one that belongs to the object or the subject, right? So nothing belongs to the stripes, whereas the stripes belong to zebra. I hope that makes sense. If you want the full worksheet, you can always reach out to me. Right, let's look at words that are considered irregular plural, okay? So if we look at the word cat, and I asked you for the plural of cat, you would say it's cats, okay? Plural. Let's look at the word fruit. The plural for fruit is fruits. If I asked you for child, okay, that's singular. What's the plural? Well, hopefully you don't say childs, okay? That is wrong, right? You don't say child. Instead, we would say children, right? Children. This is the correct plural word for child, right? So if we look here, most of the time we can make something plural by just adding the S at the end. But there are words where you can't just add S and then make it plural, right? These are called irregular plurals, okay? Now, for these words, you just add the apostrophe S at the very end, right? So here, the children's playground. Who does the playground belong to? The children, the multiple children. Again, the men's jackets. Who do the jackets belong to? The men's. Women's shoes. Who do the shoes belong to? The women, right? So we don't say the child's playground. This is considered wrong. All right, let's move on to names and apostrophes. So names ending with S, okay, so for example, James, Marcus, Lucas, right? Lucas. We just put an apostrophe at the end to show a sense of belonging, so like this. Whereas names ending with other alphabets, okay, we put apostrophe S. So if your name is Julie, right, it's obviously not ending with an S. So we put apostrophe S to show that something belongs to Julie. So for example, if I said Julie's bottle, we show that the bottle belongs to Julie by putting the apostrophe S. If I said Lucas's book, we show that the book belongs to Lucas by just putting the apostrophe at the end, right? So let's look at an example here. It says Emma's brother plays football every afternoon, right? So the brother belongs to Emma, right? So that's Emma's brother. So we know that Emma's name does not end with an S, so we would put the apostrophe in between here to show the sense of belonging. For the second one, James's backpack was left in the classroom. So who does the backpack belong to? James, right? So we put the apostrophe after the S because James's name already ends with an S. Does that make sense? So we can see the difference. For here, it's in between. For here, it's after the S. So I hope that makes sense. If you need help, if you don't understand it, reach out. But a lot of this is also practice, and I can share some worksheets with you as well.